Some really bad news, crew. Google has exclusively confirmed to us here that, as rumored, the entire Google Pixel 11 lineup is getting a price hike. But let's break it down to understand just what's going on ahead of launch. Get yourself prepared though for Made by Google and the Pixel 11 launch by hitting that subscribe button, as we will be diving into all the details, lots of comparisons and everything else in between, all ahead of launch and after launch. Cheers. So ahead of the Pixel 11's launch, the Made by Google hardware division has spoken to us directly here to address some of the, confusing frustration and information around this, as they've detailed how they have been impacted by the severe supply-driven RAM crisis, basically like every other company out there. So this week we talked with Google's Vice President of Devices and Services, Shakil Barkat, about the situation and how this will affect what is coming in the next few weeks, which, if you've been living under a rock, you'll know that Made by Google is set for August 12th, 2026, and we will be there on the ground on that launch date. But like all other consumer technology companies right now, Barkat was quick to emphasize to us here that there's never been an increase in memory prices like the world is currently going through right now, and actually pointed directly to some Morgan Stanley data to give us an indication of that. Go have a quick listen to that 4-minute clip to get some further insight, which actually confirms just how these companies are actually struggling due to a 6-fold increase in memory prices. So for instance, 1 gigabyte of RAM went from $2.18 in 2025 to $12 this year for the same RAM configuration. Google also says that they've shielded customers from supply fluctuations, basically as long as they've been possible to do so, in a reference to hardware already on the market. So that means Pixel 10, Pixel 9 devices, the Pixel 10a, which was released recently, and various other releases over the past 18 to 24 months. However, they went on to say that the economics have fundamentally shifted and they're no longer immune to that. So yeah, this is where this bad news is coming for, and time for that big bad news right now. This means that the entire Pixel family of devices will see price adjustments. Notice how they've used adjustments, not increases, which I do think tries to obfuscate or at least dampen this a little bit. This obviously includes the upcoming Pixel 11 series, though the company won't be sharing specifics on the pricing or the detailed pricing of those until the August 12th announcement. It's worth noting Google's hardware portfolio also includes the Pixel Watch, and according to recent leaks, that's going from 2 gigabytes potentially to 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is an interesting proposition, which means there could be price increases there. But the most obvious sign of this crisis is the entry-level Pixel 11 Pro going from 16 gigabytes of RAM to 12 gigabytes. And the rumored starting price of the Pixel 11 series in general, so let's start with the Pixel 11, is going to go up by $100, but doubling to 256 gigabytes of storage, I do think softens the blow. We didn't get confirmation that this is improved UFS 4.0 storage, but depending on who the supplier is for that storage, this should mean UFS 4.0 storage, because many OEMs don't actually offer 128 gigabyte options, which was the base for a long time. So that could be one saving grace, at least for the base Pixel 11. It is worth noting that the Pixel 11 Pro and the Pixel 11 Pro Fold are expected to just see a straightforward $100 price increase, no changes to storage configurations for the entry-level models. The latest rumors out there, as we've talked about here on the channel before, put the exact potential pricing of the Pixel 11 at €999. Notice I'm talking euros here. The 11 Pro at €1,199. The 11 Pro XL at €1,399, and the Pixel 11 Pro at €1,999. There's no US or UK pricing specifics, or at least none have leaked as of this video going live. Google did not confirm to us those prices, by the way. That's just for reference for yourself. So yeah, not a great look in terms of price increases. But we do have more bad news. I'm sorry to lay this on thick, but it isn't just the upcoming hardware that could be effective. This disruption could also impact in-market Pixel phones. Google didn't expand any further, but I don't know if I quite like the sound of that, as that presumably is in reference to other devices they're selling on the Google Store, most likely the Pixel 10a, which is not even halfway through its life cycle as the company's mid-range entry device. The company today is not sharing when existing prices will increase, but that's what we're reading into, and that is probably wise, or at least wise for any prospective customers, aka you, to go out and purchase sooner rather than later. Don't say we didn't warn you is what I'm trying to say here. Just jumping in here, as I've mentioned, the Pixel 10a, because there is a rumor that's recently, and a leak that's happened in the past few days regarding the Pixel 11a. Yes, we're at that stage already. The rumor suggests that the Pixel 11a is going to have a return to form and go with the Tensor G6 chip, which will debut in the Pixel 11 series. So there is potentially an opportunity here for someone who's looking for an affordable device later down the line to get a better buy. As it stands, if the Pixel 10a does increase in price, per this information that Google has given to us, it might not be something to look at when the price increases. It may be worthwhile holding on until the Pixel 11a series does arrive, or it kind of gets unveiled in 2027. Yeah, 2027. Time is what is time. But yeah, if you want an affordable device, might be worth either picking up now or holding on till earlier next year. In making these changes, Google says its focus is on ensuring device offerings remain incredibly competitive throughout every tier of the Pixel family. I still think it's not exactly a good look if devices already on sale get a price bump. And not to defend the decision though, we've seen similar price increases basically in every area of consumer technology as of late. Steam Deck, Steam Machine, everything else in between. And I think the optics are even more odd as Google is partially responsible for the price increases as the company wants to be at the forefront of AI development. Gemini is, for lack of a better phrase, bumping up the prices of Google products and services and other Google products and services as every single AI company is battling for RAM and memory right now. But without sugarcoating it, supplier costs are being passed on to consumers. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon to work out that people aren't going to be happy about this. So this is 100% Google getting ahead of any potential frustration early and even after the launch by outright addressing it ahead of time. I'm not actually sure many companies would do the same for what it's worth, so I guess in some respect we do need to give credit where it is due. And maybe I'm clutching at straws a little bit here. It might also be a saving grace because Google says that they're also aggressively engineering through these challenges. They told us that there at least has been a dedicated effort to drive down memory requirements across Android and the app ecosystem to enable devices to have less RAM while maintaining a great user experience. And I do think Google phones in general do have a great user experience without having top tier specs. AI tasks are supposedly improved too, despite these changes. So potentially some good news. Realistically though, that's just optimization for new devices. Maybe it benefits older hardware too. I think if Google is targeting Android rather than just those Tensor G6 powered devices or that new RAM stack, then I'm kind of taking that as a bit of a silver lining, as it means potentially your phone might run better as a result of Google making enhancements. We didn't get any other details, but yes, those rumored price increases are coming. I think people have every right to be unhappy about it, as I do think it could change just how the Pixel 11 ends up being received, especially as a $100 price increase, if that is what it is, could potentially make it less affordable for most people. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm definitely not happy about it either. But as always, stay tuned for more Pixel 11 in the coming weeks. I do think there's some good color choices available as per other leaks out there. I'm excited to see these in person. And we're basically in touching distance of the launch itself, and we will have lots of coverage come that. Cheers for watching. I know this has been a sad one, some bad news thrown in, but yeah, as always, I'll speak to you later.